Aloha world, and welcome to an exclusive Queer and the Queen update. We have back with us Miss Nice Nasty, and of course, welcome Ms.Tilly. So we have for you today an exclusive update on the interview that Jennifer Hough had, the accuser of Kenneth Petty, Nicki Minaj's husband. She did an interview today on The Real. Now, Miss Nice Nasty gave us the tip out on that yesterday. I'm going to let you give us the fill-in of what you learned today, and we'll have a conversation about it.
The fill-in of what I learned today is it confirmed what the buzz was, because initially it was a gossip. We didn't hear from the victim. We didn't know what she looked like, who she was, anything of the sort. She was basically in hiding, you can say, right? She said something that I really thought about too as well, was that once she found out that Kenneth was marrying Nicki, she got scared, because once people start snooping in who he is, then, oh, what is his charges? And then boom, she is that person, right? And then you have this large following, you're Nicki Minaj. So she was terrified, and she still is scared, I think, somewhat. The other thing I learned is that he was actually convicted of attempted rape, not actual rape. She said it actually happened. She said the rape actually happened, but he pled guilty to attempted rape, and he spent 4 years in prison, and now he's a registered sex offender and has to register as a sex offender, which he did not do in the state of California.
Right.
And that's what caused that big whoop to do.
That's where all this came from, because he did not register as a sex offender, which he had been doing everywhere he moved to for 20 years. But now that he's with Nicki Minaj, like you said yesterday, he thought he had the protection, but the wrong complexion, I guess. But I listened to the interview. It was gut-wrenching and heartbreaking, and I believe everything this woman said. Yeah. And I do think that even though what his charges were, that was a plea deal for him to get less than what he was supposed to get. The saddest thing I heard in her story was that her family, for whatever reason, tried to protect him and tried to get her to drop the charges against this man after her family. The way she described the story, and even his reaction of standing over her after he was done and punching himself in the chest and saying, I'm the man. It was just disgusting. Now, the interesting part is Nicki Minaj allegedly contacted this woman. She told her, I'm not going to drop these charges because what I'm telling you is true. He did these things. He went to prison for these things. He deserves to continue to be registered as a sex offender, because at this point, it was shocking to me that the allegations of $20,000. It's shocking to me that Nicki married this man, bore children with this man, and is trying to use her finances to protect this man at all costs. I'm at the point where I'm concerned for Nicki Minaj's mental health. To be honest with you, I've always been concerned for her mental health through her displays and through her character portrays of her music. I mean, she's an amazing lyricist, but so is Kanye West, and mental illness is real. But what do you think, Miss Tilly?
Well, I think that we have to give Nicki a little break, because here's the thing. Listen, it happened when he was 16. He's probably like, 35 or something right now, right? So I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm just saying that who were we when we were 16? It's not the same person that we are in our 30s, 15, 20 years later, whatever. What he did was absolutely wrong. Absolutely. And he went to jail, and hopefully he learned from it. Girl, Nicki just made a mistake. You know, she's probably like me, like she sees who he is now. She's not she's not dating that 16-year-old. Right. She's dating and she has a baby with the 35-year-old or whatever.
You know, when it comes to something like being a sex offender, I think it is very disrespectful, insulting, and insensitive for her to think that she could attempt to persuade this woman with money to get her to drop this because so that he can go live a free life. And as the victim, I'm imagining she is in such refusal for one, her own protection, and another person in case this happened to somebody else. That's the whole reason people have to register as sex offenders, so you can know who you living around. And he made a mistake, a huge mistake, and there's a huge consequence that he has to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. For the fact that Nicki, it's shocking and it's disappointing to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's very disappointing coming from a woman, you know, asking another woman to basically lie or to say something horrific that I'm sure she probably has PTSD from, that, you know, for her to say it did not happen. You know, what about, you know, Jennifer's mental health for all these years? That's something that you don't get over. It's very selfish of her as a woman to go to a victim, regardless of if it's your husband or not. It is just not. I don't have any sympathy for Nikki after watching, because last night, you guys know, I feel real bad for her and, you know, XYZ. But after watching the interview today, I did believe Jennifer. I don't think anything she said was fabricated at all. Again, I wasn't there, but her story was believable. Her statement was believable. And it paints Nikki in a whole new light. Like, if that was my husband, I wouldn't have even gotten involved in that. I would not. If I chose to marry him with the sex offender status, that's a choice I choose for the rest of my life, for better or worse, till death do us part. I am not going to try to finagle now, you know what I mean, to get that exonerated and hurt this woman's feelings for the love of a man. I'm not going to do it. I think it's low of her. It is just distasteful, and the universe is watching.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think is the best resolution?
She accepts that she married a sex offender. They leave Jennifer alone and they move on with their lives, except the restrictions. You know what I mean? You cannot go to parks. You can't go to Chuck E. Cheese. Your kids cannot have birthday parties with other children. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Accept that. You chose that. There are restrictions. And you accepted that. When you got with him, you knew he was a sex offender. So it's like, what? I don't understand, why is it now that you want to harass this woman? And not only that, I want to say this, okay, is that Nikki is doing to this girl what women do to men. You know, they get with them, they know that they ain't shit, but they think they could change him along the line. Okay, I get in with him good, and things are going to change. Someone being raped violently is not going to change from that person's memory. It is engraved, okay?
Right.
So I do not give a hoot about Nikki, her child not having a normal life, and for them to travel and scoot and boot. This girl probably have nights of sleepless nights, honey, nightmares.
Right.
Can't have intimate relationships because of that violation that she experienced at such a young age. It affects you for a lifetime.
Right. And you know, a part of me thinks that, I think a part of me knows that Nikki knows this, but another part of me thinks that the world that Nikki's in now financially, she thinks, I can fix this with money. I got money now. There has to be an amount of money for me to buy this chick and for me to fix this. And some people really just can't be bought. Now, I will say, if she would have came at her with two, because see, there is an amount of money, but she just didn't come with the right amount. She came with $20,000.
Oh, you think? You think there was the right amount of money?
I think if she would have came with $2 million, that girl would have, because that would change your life. $20,000 is a trip. That's a vacation.
That's insulting, right?
That's a summer getaway. You know what I mean? But $2 million is like, I can go restart my whole life. I can buy a new identity. I can go start a business. You know what I mean?
But see, this is the thing. If she recants it, he spent 4 years in prison. She could be prosecuted for lying.
What do you think, Ms.Tilly?
What I'm thinking and what I'm wondering is, did Nikki know? Did Nikki know, like, everything about his past, like, about all this stuff?
To my knowledge, she knew him when they were younger.
He just came out of jail.
Yeah, to my knowledge, no. He had been out. But to my knowledge, she knew him when they were younger. Then he went away. Then she went away and started her career. She lived her life. And then now she was like rekindling with some old lover. And he had him. And this is his past that she just has to deal with. But
the word on the street is, sorry.
Sip your tea.
The word on the street is that she was dating him or talking to him when he was in jail. So I guess he was in jail back recently, when he was. No. She knew that back in the day. Like, back in the day. Back when it happened, because he was 16, she was 16 when this happened, and he went and served his 4 years. Nikki knew him then. This is before she was famous, but she still rode with him. No, I just want to say, because what I've been noticing for the past couple years, that Nikki has been like on this, the industry's against her kind of thing. It just feels like they're really trying to take her down. The Grammys, why has she not won a Grammy? They didn't want her to perform.
Wait. So you think they're conspiring
satanic looking?
You think there's a conspiracy against Nicki Minaj?
I just think that they're trying to dig her in the ground.
Who is they?
Who is they?
The industry, the ones who control. I'm not saying, mind you, I'm not saying what he did is right or anything like that. And I'm definitely on, what's her name?
Jennifer Hough.
Jennifer's side, as far as this whole situation. But I'm just saying, that's him. Nikki didn't do it. What the industry has been doing to Nikki is like digging her to the ground.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but what I will say is that Nikki chose to get herself involved with a man who could bring her down, and that's what's happening.
That I agree. I absolutely agree for sure.
Wait a minute. Did you just take a nap?
I was actually trying to see if she had a comment.
Okay.
Under the whole interview was posted. Yeah, she has not posted since the 15th, and I'm keeping an eye on her post on it because the minute she posts something, I will be sure to update.
You get ding on them notifications, girl, and your phone will let you know.
My nosy neighbors. So this is what I'm going to tell you right now is that I find it very interesting that she has not posted and said anything because they know what they did was wrong. I think they gave them heads up. This thing was going to come out, this interview, because I'm sure people know people, and I'm sure they said, hey, Nikki, girl, are you sitting down? I'm sorry to tell you this, but Jennifer is giving an exclusive to The Real. I really wish Oprah was still around, honey, to do this interview.
I was just going to say, sorry. I know one thing, that The Real is getting some coin from this interview, honey. Everyone's talking about them.
I was quite shocked that she did it on The Real, but apparently
the show
is popular. I thought she could have. I would have did it on like Tamron Hall. Tamron Hall is the next Oprah for me. The View is a little too is that more political?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But Tamron Hall is like the next Oprah.
Well, that's it for Nikki and her sex offender husband. Let's move on.
Okay, so I just found this is a big old jaw-dropping exclusive for me. Wendy Williams was spotted outside of her own home, not in a hospital. She was hospitalized, but she checked herself out. She has COVID and she was hospitalized for her mental health. Apparently, she's been bunkered in her home in New York. She was spotted outside her home looking disheveled, a raggedy old mess, smoking an e-cigarette. When she realized that the camera was taking pictures of her smoking a cigarette, she freaked out and jumped in the car. Apparently, she felt like going on a shopping spree. She looked drunk and disheveled. It was just one of the saddest sights to see. Apparently, she's been drinking every day like a fish. She looked like she is under more substances than alcohol, but who am I to judge? I don't really know. These are allegations. But apparently the ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, he and the alleged mistress, now his new fiance, was on a vacation. He took the vacation deliberately because he has been warning her for years that she needs to get her mental health together and not surround herself with people who want to just do whatever she says. She surrounds herself with yes people.
Girl, Kevin is the last person to talk about anything. I warned her like he cared for her. Girl, you don't dug Wendy into the ground with everything that he's been doing to her, and he has done.
He's told her reason she on drugs.
This is the thing. How can I put this? I agree that what he did was detrimental to her mental health, but I also know that she was the person who put herself through it. I do get being in a bad relationship and not being strong enough to leave. I've been there before. But I had to take responsibility for my actions, and that I was there for however long I was there because I was putting myself through that. And then when I got strong enough, I did what I had to do. Wendy did the same thing, but I think it looks like she's having a horrible mourning process, mourning the life that she thought she was going to go to and happily ever after. And she is numbing it through whatever she's going through and doing. Apparently her staff is extremely worried about her, but they won't speak up because they're afraid of losing their jobs, which means that they're not your real friends anyway. The pictures I saw today, as you guys see on the screen, just devastating, just devastating, just an absolute Raggedy Ann like mess, just a mess. Like, where are your real friends? Like, where are your real friends? Like,
this is the thing, is that when you have money, you have more problems and less friends. It is unfortunate what's going on with Miss Wendy. As much as she is a messy boots, and some things I think she's called upon herself in the universe is from her behavior and how she is. But seriously, this woman has lost her marriage. She has lost her mother recently. Her relationship with her brother is in shambles. She has lost a lot.
What I will say, because you mentioned it, what you just mentioned, her brother stated in these video vlogs he's been posting this past week that this is the week of their mother's death. Maybe it's been a trigger.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That makes so much sense. Of course.
So her and her parents were pretty close from what I could remember. Her mom has been in the audience a few times in the show pre-COVID times and been on vacations together. So her and her mom is pretty close. And I can see where she's just lost a lot. She's empty nest. Her son is an adult. She doesn't have her husband. She's a single woman. You could have all the money in the world and your basic love and belonging needs are not being met. And that's what it is. It's like, and I really believe that's what it is. She knows that no one really has her. You know, no one really has her back in a sense. She's paying people to have her back, right?
And she's become the cat lady. She's just sitting in her penthouse with her 2-3 cats. Yeah. All this money and no one to really love her anymore.
So it's very sad and depressing. It's very depressing to see. And I wish her
push through. You have to love yourself. That was the biggest rebirthing for me in my bad relationships and past everything. Not even just relationships with any person, not someone I'm intimate with, family, friends. Like the awakening was, where is the love for me again? You know what I mean? And then once you start showering yourself with that, then the raindrops start coming from every other place that they should have been coming from to begin with. And you feel good again and you wash all that sin away. Maybe. I don't know. And then I
don't know if they have enough water, honey, to wash all that sin off of you, Jacoby. But okay,
wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I told you over and over again, I am born again. But with Wendy, it's just
she needs therapy. She needs whatever little bit of real friends she has around her. She needs that. But mental health issues is real. It don't matter how famous you are. The more famous you are, the worse it becomes. Yeah. So we got to send her love and positivity. Yes, she's talked her shit and said whatever. But at the end of the day, like, you know, she's still human. She's still sister.
She's an entertainer.
She's an entertainer. But what I will say is the same thing I said about her. Because I remember years ago when I used to watch Wendy, I used to be watching these episodes and how she just will be talking shit and like fabricating what she thinks is really going on. And I just be watching shows like, girl, somebody's gonna catch your ass in the parking lot one of these days. The thing that I will say, karma has no expiration date, y'all. So be a good person and treat people right, because you never know where you're going to be in 1 year or 10 years. Most people, as soon as bad things start happening to them and they start thinking, why is this happening to me? All the fucked up shit you done did starts trickling in your head, and karma has no expiration date.
Listen, she's gonna come back so different whenever she does come back. But I hope that she takes as long as she needs to. But here's the gag: is I'm sure that the company that she's, you know, partnering with and stuff are like trying to get her out there because she's the money maker. Mm-hmm. She's making money for them. So the longer she's away, you know, they're losing money.
Network. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope that they think about her. We don't care to see another Wendy Williams episode if she's not in her right mind. We don't want her up there, you know, like all like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, just higher than cat pee.
But this has been a Queer and the Queen exclusive. We did an episode yesterday and all this juice came out today. And the three of us talked and we was like, we got to get back together and do this again. Thank you guys for being here. I love talking to both of you. Let's talk more as much as we can. And as we always say, don't forget to smile.